Hi, I'm Daniel Andrews, owner and creator of the DAN Show, and welcome to my breakdown of the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, if you're new to my channel, I've got one simple question to ask you. Do you like football? Do you want to go somewhere where you can just talk football? Well, you're in the right place. There's this button right around here. See it, see it, see it. Bam! Hit that button. Become one of the greatest people on planet Earth. Now, here's how I do this. I'm going to break down all 32 NFL teams in draft order. So I'm going to start with the Cincinnati Bengals, who picked first. Then I'm going to end with the Kansas City Chiefs, who picked 32nd and, of course, won the Super Bowl. I break down all my videos the same way. I break down what I like, then I break down what I don't like, but stick around to the end where I break down the Vegas over-under for wins for the season and if I am going to put action down on that particular team. So let's start with the Cincinnati Bengals and what I like about Cincinnati Bengals. First thing I like about the Cincinnati Bengals is the ownership. And I'm probably in a distinct minority here, but I like the fact that you got Mike Brown, who's the owner and the general manager. And I like the way that the Cincinnati Bengals are run. Unlike other NFL franchises in the state of Ohio, they don't go through a new head coach each year. Before Zach Taylor was brought on board, Marvin Lewis was there for 17 years. So if nothing else, Mike Brown will give you an opportunity and a chance. And if you look at what he did in the offseason, he's given Zach Taylor everything he needs to succeed as head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals. The infrastructure of the Bengals is exactly the same as the Pittsburgh Steelers. Unfortunately, you don't have the results. But I like the fact that the head coach can go directly to the owner and get what he needs to succeed. I like the way the organization's run. If I was an NFL head coach, I would love to be able to work with the Cincinnati Bengals because I know I can go directly to the owner and get what I need. Plus, I know that I will be given an opportunity. I'm not going to be one of these one and done type coaches. The second thing I like about the Cincinnati Bengals is the improvement on the offensive line. First of all, you get 2018's first round draft pick, or I'm sorry, 2019's first round draft pick, Jonah Williams. He's going to be the starting left tackle. If you've been following me for a while, you know how important I think the left tackle position is. If you follow football at all, you know that that blind side is an important part of your franchise, especially with a rookie quarterback. So you get Jonah Williams back. That alone improves your offensive line immensely. But then on your left guard position, you have a battle between 2018 and 2019 players, both of them from Ohio State. And this is interesting because it doesn't really matter who wins, whether it's Billy Price, the 2018 Remington Award winner, or you get the fourth round pick, Michael Jordan, like I mentioned, are both from Ohio State. I thought that was kind of interesting. You're going to get improved play from whoever wins that battle. Last year, Michael Jordan won it, but Billy Price, former first round draft pick, they're really wanting him to win this award. They don't want a first round pick to be a bust, but it doesn't matter who wins. That left guard position is going to be improved. Plus, you also have free agent pickup. I may butcher the name here. Xavier Suafio. He's going to be the starting right guard per our lads and ESPN. So it doesn't matter who wins that other left guard position battle. Basically, you're going to have 3 new starters on the offensive line. You're going to have improvement on that offensive line. The third thing that I like about the Cincinnati Bengals is you get A.J. Green back, basically skill position upgrade, okay? You get A.J. Green, who's going to come back from injury. Now, is he going to be the same Pro Bowl type receiver? Doesn't really matter. Just having him back is going to be an improvement. Second round pick, T. Higgins. Watch some film on T. Higgins. He didn't have a great combine, but watch some of his play at Clemson. This guy looks like a legitimate number 1 wide receiver. He has everything that you need. So, and then you also have John Ross, who's coming back from injury. It really seemed like last year he really turned it on. It seems like this offense is really suited for him. He's in a contract year because the Bengals didn't pick up this 5th-year option. So John Ross is probably playing for a contract. I wouldn't be surprised if he has a big year. So the Bengals skill position, if nothing else, has been improved. Fourth thing I like is the defensive free agency help. Now, this is a little different because the Bengals have been trying to improve through the draft. But if you follow the Green Bay Packers, they went outside of what they normally do. They went after some free agent help last year. They went from a 6-win team to an NFC championship. Or an NFC championship game. Sorry. They didn't win the NFC championship game. But am I saying the Bengals are going to go to the AFC championship game? No, I'm not. But if you follow that, the Packers, what they did is they went outside what they normally do. They got some free agent help on defense. That boosted them immensely. And that's the same thing that the Bengals did. Take a look at some of these players here. DJ Reader from Houston, Trey Waynes and Mackenzie Alexander from Minnesota, Von Bell from New Orleans, Josh Bynes from Baltimore. Now, Bynes may not be a starter, but it's interesting that you got him from Baltimore. The reason why is that if you look at all 5 of these players, what do they have in common? Or they all come from playoff teams in 2019. That's going to have an impact on the locker room. Players from winning franchises is going to improve your team. Even if they don't play like they did at their previous teams, having them used to being part of winning franchises, they are brought on board. I like this because you get a talent upgrade and you get an attitude upgrade. When you're used to winning, it shows up in the locker room, and that's something this Bengals franchise desperately needs. The fifth and final thing I like about the Cincinnati Bengals is I have a man crush on Joe Mixon. This is one of the best running backs in all of football. I actually think he's a dark horse MVP candidate. If you watch my 2019 breakdown of Cincinnati Bengals, I said the same thing. Joe Mixon has all the talent in the world. This is a guy who's got receiving ability, breakaway speed, vision, bounce moves, but he's about 220, 225. He can run over smaller defensive backs. This is a guy that you can build your whole team around. Unlike last year, because you're missing A.J. Green, you had some problems with quarterback plays, you had some problems in the offensive line. Teams could gang up on Joe Mixon. You're not going to be able to do that this year. If you're a fantasy football fan, you cannot pick Joe Mixon early enough. 2,000 scrimmage yards is not out of the question. So just to recap what I like about Cincinnati Bengals. I like the organization, owner, and infrastructure. That's all one thing. But I like Mike Brown as the owner and how he works directly with the head coach. I like the offensive line improvement. All right, you're going to get 2 new starters, plus that other left guard position is going to be upgraded. I like the skill position upgrade. You add T. Higgins, John Ross, and A.J. Greenback. I like the defensive free agency help. I like not only that you got additional players, I like that they all come from playoff contenders from last year. And then finally, I have a huge man crush on Joe Mixon. Now let's talk about what I don't like about Cincinnati Bengals. Let's start with the quarterback situation. This is the number one thing I don't like about the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, I'm not saying Joe Burrow is going to be a bust, but anytime a rookie quarterback is going to be your day one starter, I am not a fan of that at all. But you combine that, and this is most years, almost every year you start with a rookie quarterback as your day one start. It's a bad idea. This year you got no mini camp, no OTA, so the lack of preparation that he's going to have into the season opener, it's not a good idea. But you compound that with a backup quarterback is Ryan Finley. This is a 2019 4th-round pick. I always believe that if you have a young quarterback, you want an experienced backup. And the reason why is not what he gives you on the field, it's what he gives you off the field. Let's look at the season opener where they're going to play against a good Chargers defense with some really good players. There's going to be a time in the game where there's going to be a formation or a look that the Chargers give on defense that Joe Burrow has never seen before. Who's he going to go to? All right, you're going to go to Ryan Finley. There's a good chance Ryan Finley's never seen that formation or that scheme before either. That's why you want a veteran backup quarterback. So, and then when you're breaking down film during the week, how do you prepare? How do you study? Ryan Finley, that's going to be your guide, a 2019 promising young quarterback. I liked Ryan Finley coming into the draft, but this is just a bad situation. Having a rookie day one starter is never a good idea, but this year without the OTAs and the minicamp, you got to combine that, and then having your backup just be a second-year player. Most teams get an experienced backup. How the Bengals did not get a veteran backup quarterback is beyond me. This is easily the number one thing I don't like about the Cincinnati Bengals. Second thing I don't like about the Bengals is I already went on a long rant about how I didn't like the quarterback situation. Now, Burrow may be a good quarterback in the future, but how's he going to be ready for the 2020 start? Your offensive line is a work in progress, all right? Jonah Williams, he was injured almost a whole 2019. Now he's your starter on the left side. You have your left guard. It's a competition between a fourth-round pick and a former first-round pick, and it's never good when you have a first-round pick. He's relegated to a backup. So you have some problems on the left side. Your right guard, that's a new player. No matter how you look at it, the Bengals offensive line situation is not good. It's a work in progress. Now, keep in mind, it may end up being a decent offensive line, but you're going into week one with a lot of questions. You combine that, or compound, whatever. I tried to put both words together, but rookie quarterback, bad offensive line situation, how does that work? The answer is it doesn't. And so going into the season, this is not a good thing, no matter how you look at it. Now, the Bengals offensive line may be good, but there's a ton of question marks about that. First-year starter on the left side, Billy Price, if he wins it, he'll be a first-year starter. Also on the left side at left guard position, Michael Jordan wins it, second-year starter. So you have some youth and instability there. Third and final thing I don't like about the Cincinnati Bengals is your best defensive player is Geno Atkins, who's 32. Now, he went to the Pro Bowl, but me and you both know the Pro Bowl is more of a popularity contest. I mean, if you look at his numbers, 4.5 sacks, 4 tackles for losses, this is a major drop-off from his stats the last several years. This is not the same player that he was. This is a guy who definitely kind of hit the wall and is quickly going down, but he's the best player that you got. Now, is Geno Atkins a bad football player? No, I'm not saying that. He's just the best defensive player on this team, and he's not that good of a player anymore, unfortunately. He's not the same disruptive force you have. And look, Father Time's undefeated, so this is the issue that you have. Your best defensive player, not even close to being the same player that he was. So I'm just going to recap what I don't like about the Cincinnati Bengals. The quarterback situation, a day one rookie starter, a second-year player as his backup. That's easily the worst thing. Offensive line still a work in progress, and your best defensive player, unfortunately, after turning 32, is not the same player, and he's the best that you got. What did I tell you? I said stick around to the end, and I was going to break down the Vegas over-under, and if I'm going to put action down on the Cincinnati Bengals, okay. First off, I more than likely am not going to go to Vegas this year. So when I say Vegas over under, I'm kind of generalizing here. More than likely, I'm going to use William Hill in Iowa, where I'm going to place all my sports bets. So I'm going to use the William Hill numbers. Secondly, I'm not 100% convinced that there's going to be a full NFL season. I think it's going to be shortened, but as of right now, as of today, the NFL is planning on a 16-game schedule, so I am going to use the numbers that are presented today, and when they change, if they change, I'll go ahead and I'll update it, and I'll let you know what I'm going to do. The over-under for the Cincinnati Bengals is 5.5. Currently, the over is negative 140, which means that you have to bet $140 to win 100. The under is plus 120, so a $100 wager would win you 120. If I was going to put action down on Cincinnati Bengals, I would definitely take the under. I think that this team is very talented, but it's definitely a work in progress. I think that this is going to be about 4 or 5 win team. I don't see how this team's going to be successful this year. I think that they're building a great foundation for 2021, 2022, but this year is going to be a bad football team. Am I putting action down on the Cincinnati Bengals? No, I am not, because the talent is there. I said in the video, Joe Mixon is a dark horse MVP candidate. Joe Burrow is probably going to struggle, but he has the talent and the weapons to be successful. I think that this team will start slow, but here's a question: when do they hit their stride? When does everything come together? Because when it does come together, they're going to put some wins. I just don't know if it's going to come together middle of the season, late of the season, or 2021. To answer your question, I am not putting action down on the Cincinnati Bengals, but if you do, I would definitely take the under and plus 120. That's a good number, and I do feel confident that Bengals will not get over 5.5 wins. Now, Tomorrow, I'm going to break down the Washington, as of right now, Redskins. But the team in Washington, I'm going to break down till tomorrow. So, hey, I'll see you tomorrow.